Yo, Elliot. Yo, so today we got a question from a bro who wants to know, yo, Elliot, how do I customize a program just for me when there's so much contradictory information out there? So we're gonna answer that question, but before I do, you're brand new. My name is Elliot Hulse. I'm a strongman strength coach. I've been making men strong here on YouTube since 2007. I'm the OG of YouTube fitness. And if you want to become the strongest version of yourself, go to alphaschool.ai and sign up for free, or just click my links down below. So today's question, let's go. Yo, Elliot, I've been watching you since the early 2000s. I was in my 20s. I'm in my 40s now. How do I create a fitness program tailored for me? I can't afford a trainer, and there's too much confusing information online. So great question, and my answer is going to be two contradictory positions I'm going to take on this. And you'll see how it'll make sense all at the end. It'll tie together. But my first answer is that everybody is exactly the same, so you don't need to do too much tailoring. That means that every single human being with 10 fingers and 10 toes can only do 7 things. You can push, pull, squat, lunge, twist, gait, and did I say bend? Right? Push, pull, squat, bend, lunge, twist, gait. 7, right? Gait means walk, right? So there's only those things that we can do. And you and me and everybody else, that's all we can do. So whatever program you choose that includes those 7 things, and you're improving upon those, meaning in function and strength, you're gonna do all right. So you don't need much tailoring. But on the other end of the spectrum, you are a snowflake, my man. You're very different. You're special. We're all special. We're all very different and unique. And that means that you need an assessment. You need somebody to really fine tune and discover what it is that makes you different so that your program can be tweaked in that regard. And if we're talking in terms of the most superficial way of looking at things, we've got physical and physiological. Physically, like those 7 movements, that's all you can do, but there are nuances, right? So if you got muscular imbalances, if you've got injuries, right? Anything that causes deviations in any one of those 7 movement patterns. Like for example, like I said, I got one leg shorter than the other. It's very imperceptible. Like I'm not walking around like this, but over time, just misuse and disuse, this thing that I was born with, my pubic symphysis kind of sits like this, has led to some pains in the side of my body. I made a video not too long ago where I have to do a special stretch and I have to do special strengthening exercises for the frontal plane, right? And that's because I'm special. And so I got to add these things into my routine because I have to customize based on the specialness that is me. And so you might have the same situation. Maybe you've had an injury. Maybe you got a muscle imbalance. Maybe you're just born fucking deformed, right? And that means that you got to deal with things in that regard. And so each one of those 7 patterns have to be tweaked for you. Maybe you got to do more on one side than the other. Maybe you need to do some corrective stretches before you do the exercise. Maybe there are some exercises that you should eliminate altogether. Just don't do them. Right? And then as time goes on and years go by, you end up with chronic misuse, disuse, and abuse. And like I said, so for example, like a lot of guys, their shoulders are pretty jacked up, which by the way, if you got shoulder problems, you should be foam rolling your thoracic spine. I lay on my foam roller for an hour every day, man, and my body feels great. You got to open up the spine. But anyway, so if you got shoulder problems, like a lot of guys can't bench press. So they stop bench pressing altogether when, in fact, if you just get like one of these, you just get like a neutral grip bar. You see me use these in my videos, right? If you get a neutral grip bar, sometimes they're called football bars. You can buy them on Amazon. They're pretty cheap. This is an expensive one that was made custom for me. But you can end up doing your bench presses because you won't have that wear and tear on the shoulders. So that's on the physical side of things. Like you might need to customize your workout for you. So you could do a legit 5x5 routine. You could do any kind of bodybuilding routine. I like your basic bro split. And of course, there's all the deviations and permutations of the parameters of lifting too, right? But we're not gonna get into that because then this video will last forever, right? And that means reps, sets, time under tension, rest in between, volume, all that kind of shit, right? And there's a lot of fun ways to manipulate and tweak that. And I do that all the time. Like I love just one set to failure, Mike Mentzer type shit. And then I also like, 5x5 body lifting and bodybuilding. I love all that shit. But you got to tailor it based on what you want. That's a big part of the deal too, right? Like I didn't even address that. Like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? You tailor it to what you want. So there's that. And then there's a physiological rabbit hole that we can go down, bro, which includes like the way your nervous system responds to certain different types of exercises, right? Like we've got different character structures. Some people respond really well to heavy weights and explosive movements, and some guys respond even better to lighter weights and more time under tension. Like everybody's just different in that regard with how their nervous system operates, right? We've got sprinters and we've got joggers, just different people. We're just different. We're just snowflakes, right? Then you got like your physiological load, like your stress in your life, right? And physiological load compounds, right? Like your exercise program is going to have to be tailored to how well you're sleeping at night. Because if you're not sleeping well at night, you're not recovering well. And if you're not recovering well and you do a lot of intensity and a lot of volume, you're going to have a lot of problems, right? Especially if you're over 40. Your digestion, right? Like, are you eating the right foods for your metabolic type? Do you have digestive disruption, like issues in your digestive tract? That's going to be huge because you might have malabsorption. You might have, dysbiosis. You might have gut wall permeability that cause food particles to settle in your joints. This shit is all real, right? It causes you problems based on your digestion. And so if I'm not paying attention to you and digestion, and I start giving you workouts that fuck your joints up because you're eating foods like gluten or things that like irritate your gut lining, like it almost seems like two left field issues, but it's actually one fucking thing. It's all about you, dude. What else? Hormones, right? Like like how your thyroid is behaving is going to determine like the volume and the intensity of the workout that you're going to do. How are your sex hormones? That's the first one most people think about is sex hormones, but like you got the whole HBA axis. There's all kinds of things that cascade off of that, right? Like if you're stressed out and you got adrenal fatigue or just, burnout, it's going to determine how we design the program, bro. So that's my answer to that. Now, I know you were confused when you asked this question, and I probably confused you even more. So let me tie it all together for you. Begin with the broad template, 7 movements. If you're doing a basic bodybuilding, powerlifting, just lifting type of routine. If you're a CrossFit kind of guy, maybe you want to do that stuff too. That's cool, It's athletic. Cool. I like strongman, right? So in other words, you can do whatever you want to do. But without the investment in a professional, a practitioner that can assess all that stuff for you, well, you just got to pay very close attention to yourself. And sometimes that means mixing it up to see how your body responds to things. It means being consistent with the things that you know work. It means staying away from the shit that you know fucks you up. And all in all, just being an aware person. And I get it. I'm not a Zen Buddhist. I'm not a saint. I'm not totally aware all the time because I get distracted in the world. So I do a bunch of shit and then I injure myself. But the right way to be is to be very mindful of every movement that we do when we tailor things so that we don't destroy ourselves, dude. So that's it. That's all. That's my answer to that, dude. Done.